So, and you look at the prices there. You got $50 to $100 per table. If you could stick 50 tables in a place, you add up the money on that. You're looking at $5,000, $10,000 a month just on business expos and stuff like that. You've got $10 for adults, $5 for children. For the community dances, and I didn't put that in red on here, but it should be non-alcohol. We don't want to have any alcohol. I mean, there's just no need for conflict, and if you're going to have more than 4 or 5 people in a room with alcohol, you're probably looking for some type of conflict at some point. I mean, and I know, it's just not a good idea. People they don't think rationally under the influence. Let's put it that way, all the time. All right, they lose their inhibitions to maybe start some conflict. Let's see. Okay, so same thing with a farmer's market. You could be making, another 5 or 10. I mean, that pays for your little community center. That pays for, whatever little expenses that the council needs for paper and the copier or whatever else that they want, pens and pencils and stuff. And then the handbook sales, again, $10 suggested donations, and you can raise the donations once people are feeling great about this handbook, and it's very popular. And on my handbook, I actually have a question mark for the price, and it says handbook sold at free market price. Increase its value by buying one now, and it's kind of cool on the front of that book. So okay, let's move on to board number 3. Nope, that was board number 3. We're going to move on to board number 4. Okay, this is where it gets exciting, patriots. Alright, we're going to start transitioning into local money. Now we're going to start that by just having virtual money, and you can do this on your website. You can have virtual money. You would have to be somebody that is extremely disciplined, as far as you will not be creating squares out of thin air. Now the nice thing about squares is that they're a different shape. They can't be mistaken for a coin. They can't be mistaken for a dollar bill. We can make squares that are paper. We can make squares that are metal afterwards, and they can't be confused with regular money. So these local squares, can get keep people. Now, after a little while, now, excuse me. After a while, the value of the dollar has gone down so drastically. And with your money, and it's because your money is going out of your local communities. That's why the dollar goes down so badly, so drastically. As you're keeping more money in your local community, the value of these squares is going to be is going to be so much more valuable than the value of the dollar. Now you don't have to stay with the squares. I mean, you don't have to start with the squares, and you shouldn't start with the squares. What you should just start everything with just money. And the pitch is to these businesses that you're going to help them improve their business. You're going to advertise their businesses. You're going to do little media interviews with them, and you're going to get them recognized. And then you're going to run around to all the residents in the area, not residents, sorry, because residents are slaves, the inhabitants of the area, and knock on all their doors and sell them a handbook, and try to sell them a handbook anyway, and get the message out that people need to start paying more attention to local community. And the end all be all of all of this is that it's a 50 to 90% increase in overall resources for everybody in the village. Okay, now don't freak out and think that I'm talking about socialism here. Now what I'm talking about is teamwork. And if one village can get together and all decide to handle their own affairs, they could actually not be handing out 90% of their wealth, of their labor, of their substance to some foreign power that doesn't care about them, and had barely even, I don't even think, knows that they exist. So that's board number 4. Let's see. So it can't be confused with round or rectangular currency. So there you go. And then eventually we can actually make these squares out of gold and silver, and actually make them worth a certain weight in gold, and so that they cannot ever be inflated. So moving on to the conclusion of the Rock Village steps. So one patriot literally can create a village website. You can create a handbook to bind the village. That's easy. These are easy things to do. 3, you can get businesses involved. You can say, look, you know, you guys, if we send you more business, will you offer them a 10 to 20% discount if they present a handbook? And will you enforce the handbook? Will you say, look, if you don't have your handbook, you don't get the discount? The reason why you want them to have their discount, even if it's your mother, even if your mother walks in and it's your business, you enforce, well, you're not going to charge your mother anything, but you see my point here. If it's your friend Charlie and he's, you know, needs to do some business with you and he doesn't have his handbook, well, you know, Charlie, how come you don't have your handbook? You know, you're supposed to have this with you all the time so that anytime you make a buying decision, you look in that handbook first and you go to one of these local businesses first in order to make that buying decision. Now, this is what's going to save us, okay? Surfing on the internet is not going to save us. Protests are not going to save us. Rallies are not going to save us. Marches are not going to save us. None of that stuff is going to save us. What's going to save us is you getting off your rump and going out there and starting informing your local community about the perils of letting other people handle their affairs, all right? And that's what really the fundamental understanding of this whole sovereign process is for me, is that if I can handle my own affairs, then nobody else is incurring an expense because of my existence. So therefore, why should I have to pay them anything? And with that, I think, let's see, you know, and like I said, it's easy to find participants and financing for this business. I showed you plenty of ways where you could be raking money in left and right, no matter what kind of income you might have. For most people in their regular jobs, you could be doing something for liberty and loving it, and doing, you know, the people in your community are going to love you because they're all doing well. Some people are actually able to walk to work after a while, maybe because they got a job right in one of these local communities. And that's another thing you could do with these businesses, is say, look, if I'm in here and I'm helping you and I get more business, we get first dibs, okay? Our village gets first dibs on any kind of employment that you have available, okay? Okay, again, and I think we're pretty much, we've brought this together to a conclusion, and the conclusion is that you can bring abundance to 500 to 5,000 local people in your own small local area, okay? So if you want to get with me, correspondence on this is neo@pyrebang.com. You want to subscribe to the channel because you get this information out to a lot more people. Please rate, favorite my video. I'd really appreciate it if you favorite these videos, this series, and get this information out. It's open source. I don't care what you do with it. I'd like to be able to correspond and put my own 2 cents in here as I set up my own village locally. And, you know, we can kind of help each other out as we set up our little villages all over the place. So, again, thank you for visiting, and also all my friends that have become my friends on YouTube. I'm starting to learn how to use this place, and it's great. I got a bunch of subscribers now, and looking for more to looking for more friends and subscribers to help get the get out the news. And you can become the media, and you can become basically the savior of your local village by taking on this Rock Village plan. And, you know, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be Rock Village, but go ahead and just get it done.